Hello, loves. Welcome back to the Unshakable Soul podcast. My name is Sophia Wood-Masikat, and I am your host here on this show, where we get to talk about the magic, the mystery of our human experiences. Today is particularly potent because I'm recording this May 1st on the Scorpio full moon. And today, if there's any day during the year that brings up a lot of shit for us to look at, it's gonna be today. Now, the thematic of today is also tied into this full moon, this moment of culmination, of revelation, of release. And it's gonna be around the 5 ways that you may be blocking yourself from your own healing. And a lot of this is subconscious, which is Scorpio territory. They love to go inwards and to get underneath the surface. That's where the juice is. That's where a lot of our reclamation comes in and our empowerment. So I want to offer us these 5 blocks that I have personally identified from my own experience and from the many women and men that I've coached throughout the last 5 years. This conversation is particularly geared towards women. However, I never want to block out our beautiful men from tuning in and listening to these conversations. So of course, if you're a man, definitely listen to this. Maybe there's something that resonates for you and you want to incorporate in your life. Or maybe you're a guy and you have a girlfriend or you have a mom or sister or whatever. Send this forward, share the love. All right, let's dive in. So, we are talking about these ways that women tend to block themselves. And this, from the get-go, you might be like, how the fuck could I be blocking myself from my own healing? I want to heal so badly. I've had this experience happen to me that I don't want to have anymore, and now I'm really not wanting to have this. Well, before we even go into that aspect, I want to invite us into a deep truth. The healing aspect does not happen when you try and do more, when you try and get yourself out of something. Because that inherently says that where I am is not good. I don't want to be where I am. Thus goes our process of seeking things out there to heal. And I'm not saying that that's bad. There's a time and place. There's a time when I am speaking to my guides. There's a time when I am dancing and shaking. There's a time when I'm maybe in psilocybin retreat or ayahuasca, whatever your medicine is. But everything is ultimately pointing you back to you. And to the realization that it's crunchy as fuck to sit with what is. Okay? And we begin to realize that we have learned through deep-rooted patterns and coping mechanisms to survive in a world that did not feel safe for us to be ourselves. And this goes back to childhood. If your environment when you were younger did not feel safe for you to fully express yourself authentically, then hello, as a human and adult, you still have those patterns. If you haven't consciously seen them, integrated them, and transformed them. So this is what I wanted to offer here right now. And again, the potency of this moment of time, Scorpio full moon, it is illuminating all these patterns that we have kept within us to help us survive. And what does survival mean to a child? I'll come back to our childhood. Survival means I have food, I have shelter, I have some form of love. They were helpless. But now, as an adult, if you're listening to this, you're probably not helpless. You probably have a roof under your head. You probably have food to eat. You probably have clothes to wear. The thing is that your nervous system is still wired to survival. You can have millions of dollars in your bank account. This is the craziest thing. But still be operating from a pattern of scarcity. Because it's never going to be enough. When is it going to be enough? So there's all these patterns that are coming up to the surface now. And it's perfect. It is perfectly timed. And it is here for us to see, to feel, to honor for the protection they gave us. And for the seemingly connection and love they gave us too. And now with our adult discernment and reflection on all our patterns, we can safely say, thank you, you are no longer needed here. I choose to... ... What will you choose differently? How will you choose to honor yourself now? Okay? So, healing has nothing to do with doing more. This is kind of a prelude to the 5 blocks I want to offer. But from the get-go, because again, I've been in this pattern, and I know a lot of women in this pattern too. You know, the need to read more books, the podcasts, the retreats, the yoga classes. We start getting attached to these things and don't know how to function without them. So our spiritual journey, basically living consciously and authentically, gets robbed because we now have all these practices that we think are bringing us some healing, but actually it's become a coping mechanism. How fucked is that? So the very thing you're trying to escape from, you're getting from some other source now, and we're calling it spirituality. So really, it's about seeing clearly. Am I able to be honest enough to see my own bullshit? To see his or her own bullshit? But it's not up to me to change that person or that thing that caused me such pain. It's only up to me to focus on what is going on within me. Point à la ligne. Dot. Okay, so can we have some courage and willingness to see truly what's going on beneath the surface? And how I have actually been blocking myself from experiencing what I truly desire to experience. Abundance, joy, intimacy, connection, love. And you get to define those for yourself, because that may look different for every person. Okay, this is where honesty comes in. And of course, compassion. Compassion for your child self. Compassion for all the versions of yourself that learned to survive up until now. So this episode and this conversation is not an invitation to judge yourself, to blame, or to victimize yourself. Okay, we're going to bring up one of the blocks as victimization. But again, this is self-awareness. This is shining the light, being your own lighthouse, being where are my blind spots? Oh, having the willingness to look at them for what they are. And then gently recognizing that you have ultimately been self-sabotaging your own desires, your own growth, your own expansion, yada yada. All right. Let's dive into these 5 blocks. Number 1 block that is getting in the way of your own healing is chronic overfunctioning, aka people pleaser, aka the perfectionist, the workaholic, the go-go doer, the part of us that we all carry to some certain degree, especially if you live in a first world modern day society and culture that applauds you when you're always on the go. Okay? So, as women, again, I've talked about this in other episodes, we are wired for connection. Thus why the caregiver archetype is very deeply ingrained in us. As is the people pleaser, as is the fawning nervous system reactivity. Because ultimately we fear being burnt at the stakes, we fear being abandoned from our ancestral past, yada yada. Okay, but for this conversation, I'm not going to go too much on that. I'm going to focus on why the fuck is this a block? Okay. This is a block because all your energy is being poured out there. So maybe you believe that by giving more, then that there's some virtue in that you're worthy of something. You feel good about yourself. Okay, we've been taught that our worth is in how much we give, how much we care for others. And I'm not saying that's bad, that's beautiful, that's part of one of our qualities. The love of a mother for her child, for her husband, her devotion, it's beautiful. Only when it's coming from wholeness. And that's the number one piece I see a lot of women that come to work with me with. They're giving from depletion. No wonder they feel frustrated, resentful, tired. Okay, so you're so used to being that emotional support for others, to saying yes when you actually want to say no. You don't want to fucking go see Sally. You don't care about Sally, really. And you feel responsible for every else's well-being, to the detriment of your own, because you know you don't matter. This is when self-abandoning becomes normalized. And this is very dangerous. So the insight here for this block is that your energy that is required to heal is being spent maintaining everybody else. And again, this is a coping mechanism. For example, if anybody out there is good, I can try and control their nervous system, then mine will be regulated. That doesn't fucking work that way. Everybody else has their own ish to deal with. It's not up to you to deal for their ish for them. Focus on you, boo. And when you notice that you're grounded, that you're coming from a place of love and wholeness with clear boundaries, hey, you're going to start seeing shifts in your relationships. Okay, so here's the reframe. Self-care is not selfish. And this is arguably the hardest thing for women to swallow because guilt arises. But when you realize that when you give from depletion, you're not healing anybody, you're not actually caring for anybody, it's actually a very selfish act to give from depletion, maybe something starts shifting. Well, what would happen if I start giving from overflow? If I start giving from a full cup? If I start honoring myself just as much as I honor my kids, or I love my kids and I care for my kids? I always give this analogy in the airplane. Ding dong. Make sure you fasten your life vests and inflate it securely before assisting another. And in that video, there's your fucking kid next to you. You might think, my kid is first. Boo. You are first. Okay? So you need your energy. You need you to heal, to grow, to transform. So here's a reflection for you. Where in your life are you overgiving? At the expense of yourself. Again, there's nothing wrong to give. Let's remember that energy is reciprocity. It's an exchange. Where has the exchange been kiltered to one side? Where is there no reciprocity? Maybe for you, you feel safer to give. It's not been familiar for you to receive because when you were young, you were receiving hits on the head or judgments and shame, whatever. Right? That's part of the shadow work. That's part of the work. Can you receive your own love? Especially if you haven't received a love that was unconditional when you were young. All right. Number 2. Second block that's hindering your own healing. Suppressed emotions. You suppressing your truth, your authenticity. This one's a no-brainer. You learn to be the easy one. Palatable. Sitting nicely, eating properly, dressing pretty, combing your hair, being the calm one. The one who doesn't make things too conflicted or messy. But here's the thing, unmet emotions or unmet needs, unfulfilled desires, they breed within you. Frustration, resentment, anger, sadness, they get stored. Nothing new here. And then we wonder why there's so much cancer coming up in this world. So many diseases. Remember, disease is coming from energy imbalance in every cell of your body. It is deeply emotional, mental. The vibration starts there. And it's manifested, if it hasn't been processed and integrated, as physical symptoms. And the area of your body that you feel dis-ease, stomach, throat aches, migraines, it will tell you energetically what's going on, what's blocked. Okay, so here's the insight for this block. Of course, your body keeps the score. It is wise. It is wise, and it's holding on. Again, your body wants to heal you. Your body is always healing you. But if I stay stuck in a mental story of why I'm not good enough, why I don't deserve so-and-so, why I think I am less than worthy of so-and-so, why I think that this is not possible for me because so-and-so, we have so many fucking excuses, it's crazy. Then your body has no other choice than to believe you and to start protecting, to start, okay, I'm going to hold on to these things, but you're not wanting to process this energy, so I'm going to hold on in this particular area. What is cancer? Cells that don't want to die. Shit. There's a natural death, rebirth, and life cycle happening in your own body, and you're resisting it. Shit. And I say this with so much compassion. I know I'm coming off a little fiery, but this is the time right now where there's no more bullshit. We're literally ripping off the Band-Aid. We're pulling up Pandora's box. have the courage to see your own shit. Unless you tell me I'm good with where I am in my shit, in my toxic relationship with myself, with my partner, with life. I'm all good being the victim. I'm good. You do you, boo. But for those listening that are resonating, feel into this. Sit with it. Move with it. Let these words be medicine. Integrate this after. Walk in nature. Sing to yourself. Write it out. It's the time to release. To see yourself clearly. Okay? Here's the reframe for this block on emotions. Your emotions are not weakness. They are divine insights. Simply guiding you back to truth. You have to be willing to feel, though. To allow those waters to move so that you can see clearly. You can't see in muddy water. And a lot of us stay stuck in the muddy water. Okay, so here's a reflection for you. What emotion have you been avoiding? Because it feels uncomfortable or inconvenient. You can also change emotions for experience. What experience have you been avoiding? Because it feels uncomfortable or inconvenient. This could also be pointing you towards what you actually desire. For example, if I desire to experience intimacy, physical touch and intimacy, I've been avoiding that. Because it feels unfamiliar, uncomfortable. Because back in the days I got slapped when I got too close. Got betrayed. But deep down, that's what I really desire. Okay. Okay, number 3. The third block that hinders our own healing. We identify with the wound. AKA, I am the victim of my circumstances or my experiences or my emotions. Okay, this one is subtle, sneaky. When pain has been part of your narrative and story for so long, it starts to feel like I am this pain. And even deeper, you use it as an excuse and as this blanket of comfort. Because in my pain, I don't need to step into my truth and voice it, be in the light, shine my gifts, share myself. With the diagnosis of ADHD, oh great, I have all these excuses now. Oh, I have ADHD. Oh, I have... How many times do we label ourselves? And I don't want to diminish ADHD. I probably have it. I mean, we're all fucking on the spectrum. Let's be honest here. You're no more special than me. I'm no more special than you. Are we using it to diminish ourselves or to empower ourselves and look for the opportunity in this diagnostic, in this experience, the silver lining? Call me optimistic, but I think we need a little bit more optimism right now with all the shit happening in the world. We need to remember the beauty hidden in each wound. There is beauty in your ADHD and your dyslexia. Neurodivergence is a big thing right now. Great! Autism. Beautiful. Maybe you have an autistic child. Maybe you have an autistic friend, or you know somebody. What is their gift? What are they really good at? Are they super focused, super immersed in their world? How much do we shame that? How much do we say poor them and diminish them, thinking they're less than? What the fuck is that? Maybe this is you. Look how you diminish yourself. Maybe you're a single mom. Maybe you're widowed. Maybe you're betrayed by someone. How often are you perpetuating this narrative, this talk? Oh, I'm widowed. Oh, I'm single mom. Woe is me. Yes, grieving is important. But there's a moment where we're elongating something far too long than it's actually necessary. Because again, of those reasons I mentioned, it's comforting. I don't need to actually step into my life again and meet somebody else, or do that podcast, or do that thing that actually lights me up, or get the job, apply for the job, make the phone call, whatever it is. It feels safer to be in my victimhood and to identify with my wound, or my diagnosis, or my experience, or my situation, or my circumstance, whatever the fuck it is. Okay? So, the fucked up aspect of many of us humans is we like to cling on to something familiar, but that's toxic and we know it, than to step into an unfamiliar zone that we know will bring us expansion, new opportunities for growth and love and connection. Okay, so here's the reframe. You are not your pain. You are the one that experiences it. And the moment you disassociate that, your true essence from any experience really, honoring the sensation, the feeling, the grief, of course, but again, not identifying with the emotion. This is why having a creative outlet is so important, so that you can channel that energy, emotion. Is it singing? Is it dancing? Is it writing? Is it playing an instrument? Is it whatever it is? Cooking. And here's a reflection for you. Who would you be without your story? Okay. Whoo, this is fun. I don't know if you're having fun. I'm having so much fun. This is a really good conversation. I think it's going to be maybe triggering a few people, but that's great. That's why I'm here. Okay. And hopefully it will be very empowering too. Number 4, fourth block that is hindering you from healing fully, from getting out of the muck, of feeling stuck. Ignoring integration. This is a very important one. Okay, so oftentimes when we're on a healing journey, we're in the seeker mode. I'm seeking closure. I'm seeking truth. I'm seeking to end the pain. But in this seeking, oftentimes we want the next experience, the next modality, the next breakthrough, the next activation. We're trying all these different things out. The plant medicine, the breath work, the sound healing, the yoga classes, the retreats. And then we get into that pattern. But we're noticing that nothing actually is changing in our life, perhaps. That's one signal that, oh, am I now clinging onto these spiritual modalities or healing practices as a safety net for actually not doing the transformation work, which is essentially choosing differently than before. And being with what is, the truth of what is. And again, these spaces are powerful. Like I've done them all. Plant medicine, breath work, sound healing, yoga, you name it, ecstatic dancing. And I still practice dancing to this day, of course. I still love a good yin yoga. They can open something in you. They definitely open something in me. But what that opens, that's the key. You get the clarity from the doorways that have been opened through these modalities. But then the transformation, which is actually what we seek, comes when you choose to say yes to what you know is in alignment and or what you're saying no to. Ultimately, they go together. I'm saying yes to something, therefore I'm saying no to something else. I'm saying yes to going out with this person versus before I would probably say no because I was scared that wasn't good enough. Example. Okay, if we ignore integration, we're just returning to our life after these peak experiencing, thinking that something's going to change. But then actually, we come back and sometimes we're even more overwhelmed because we just got so much information, so much download, it's just causing more anxiety. So we perpetuate the same patterns, and sometimes it gets worse because now we're so aware, but we don't know what to do with it. So then we seek another experience, and that's the loop that perpetuates. Okay, so the insight here is that the modality on its own does not create lasting change and healing. It simply opens the door. Integration is what actually changes your life. And it's not about doing everything. It's choosing that one action that's aligned with your truth, with what you authentically desire, and choosing to follow through. That's how you build trust. That's how you build safety. That's how you reconnect with who you are. Not who other people want you to be. Oftentimes, that is what triggers this healing journey. Because you've been living a lie, or you've been living on somebody else's dream path. Okay? So here's the reframe. Your power isn't in how many experiences you have, but it's in the depths, in the quality. There's a simplicity in how you live. So when you come back from these peak experiences, it's truly about realizing, well, what doesn't serve me anymore? What has been illuminated for me? What has been clarified? And there's a clearing process, which brings in more spaciousness in your physical environment out there and in here for something newer, truer, and more aligned to emerge through you and into your relationships, into your life. This is when the courage piece comes in. Do I have the courage to let that go? Let that person, let that place, let that project go? Because it felt so good back then, but I know it doesn't serve me anymore. It had its purpose. Okay, so the offer here is we're choosing those small moments and actions. Honesty over avoidance. I'm coming back, I'm honest with myself. Maybe you're healing from a pattern of always having to do and prove yourself. Maybe you're choosing, hey, what if there's nothing to prove and I can actually rest and lean back and enjoy this moment? Maybe you're choosing boundaries because you're a chronic people pleaser. You're choosing to just honor that one no. That's the work, folks. That is the work. So here's a reflection for you. Where might you be using healing practices that you probably have right now to avoid what you actually need to feel, face, or change in yourself, or in your life? And again, these are not easy things to feel into and to hear. So if you're still here with me right now, you are a brave soul, and deep bow down to you. I'm going to offer us the fifth one. It's the last one of our blocks that hinder our healing. The fifth is high self-expectation, and I'm going to tie that into lack of support from you and from the world. So you're moving through something right now, but you're not actually becoming your own best ally. And maybe you're not open to receiving guidance and support from the world because you're so used to handling on your own. Right? I work with a lot of women that are hyper independent, that are go-getters, ambitious, and that have learned to care for themselves. But in a way that's not from a place of love, but that's from a place of fear, because I don't trust you to handle my heart, to be here in my heart. And for good reason sometimes. But in most of the times, there's a lot of support and a lot of love that wants to come pouring in, but she just doesn't feel safe in herself to receive it, let alone receive it from herself. Okay, so she has expectations, and you have expectation for your healing. It's I do this, I do that, and then I'm good. Whoa. And then one day you realize, or you question, why the fuck am I still here? It should be, why am I still crying? Why am I still grieving? Why am I still Why am I still frustrated? It's not about time or the amount of time. It's the quality of the time, the quality of your intention and your presence, your compassion, your honesty, your humility, your trust. Trust in yourself, trust in the universe, and remembering your cyclical nature. This is a key component here. Because if you're approaching this from a linear way, I do this, I do that, and I get that. Ooh, boo. Can we just remember that we got our energy shifts each month as women? This is particularly for women, this one. But it could be for anybody that has high expectations too. So your practice right now that is helping you perhaps heal, you're trying to show up to it consistently. That's beautiful. Maybe you're like, okay, Sophia, like my yoga classes once a week, they're really healing. I love them. Great. But then if you feel shame or guilt when you are not able to go to class, when you don't feel like showing up because you had a conversation with your partner or your energy is just not there, then that could be a downward spiral for some. Because unconsciously they have a high expectation of themselves. I have to do it this way. There's no other way. I have to pull through, push through. I go on this retreat and at the end, I'm going to be healed. I'm going to have the insights. I go in this psilocybin experience and inner journey and I'm going to be healed. I'm going to have the information I need. Oftentimes it doesn't go that way. We always get information, but it's usually not what we expect. So the invitation here is, in my healing journey, can I be open to the revelations that come through to me? Can I be open to the support that is always here for me? It can be a family, it can be a third party, it can be your spirit guides, it could be nature. Are you really open to guidance, to support, to love? Or do you have the narrative, I gotta do this on my own, I got this? Because you just don't want to be seen as weak, vulnerable. Okay? So oftentimes this leads us to, yes, we have this modality that we're following, maybe that yoga class, but it's not fully intentional. It's just something we do now. So instead of a place to actually process and allow yourself to feel fully. It's just another thing on our list of things to do. And we start like approaching our healing as like kind of military and rigid, when it's requiring more presence, honesty, vulnerability. And for a lot of us, it's all vulnerable as fuck to open ourselves up, to receive support, to receive love. I remember my first yin practice, I cried the whole time through. And I had my arms out like this, and I was just crying so much because it felt so hard to have my heart open. As I realized my heart was so closed before. Even if I wasn't physically going like this, like energetically, my heart was just like... Okay? Sometimes we want to move on too quickly from what's actually asking to be felt, to be heard, to be held. So let's honor the process, holding ourselves to the fire, of course, remembering that healing, yes, is a process and journey, but it's also with our intention that things can come to a close and that we can actually see change instead of perpetuating a loop, and that we remember that we are cyclical in our nature. We have moments when our energy is high, energy is low. We have mood that flows with our energy. So we have to nurture ourselves in every phase. And remember that you're not alone here. That you can call for help. Maybe you have a mentor, a coach, a special guide, or a special family member with whom you trust. At least having one person you trust. Okay, so there's nothing to shame about needing help. Okay. All right. Remember that you're your best ally. And that you're the only person that could really bring yourself through the fire of transformation. So yes, call on support, but remember you're the only one that can step through the fire. What does that mean, step through the fire? Choosing differently. Choosing in alignment with your truth, with what is authentic and real and alive within you right now. Okay, so what can self-support look like? Creating intentional spaces for you to simply pause and be with what is. That's simple. Number one. Allowing yourself to feel what's here without feeling as though you need to rush past it in any way or get out of it too quickly. Allow the tears to come. Allow the rage to come. Channel it in a way that's healthy. Punch some pillows. Yell in the water. Wail at the moon. Dance. Express. Other ways for self-support is the basics. Eat healthy, whole, real foods. Drink enough water. Quality sleep. Hugs. Touch. Massage. Smile. Warm bath. Can you be your own mother? Give your body what it needs. So in a healing journey, we come back to basics. Because we're learning to reconnect with ourselves, to reconnect with our body, to build the right relationship with our body, with life, which is one and the same. We're learning to cultivate inner safety, inner stability. So that when we transform, which is I'm choosing differently, I'm meeting life from a place of truth, of groundedness, of love, of presence, versus anxiety, rush, all those patterns we're used to living by. survival, basically. So here's a gentle reflection for you. Where have I been trying to move through the healing process quickly or to do it alone? Is there a belief there that I need to do it alone, that it's not safe to rely on anybody else or to ask for support? Because maybe that space you want to carve for yourself, I hear this a lot from women I mentor. Maybe you feel that nobody else is going to take care of the kids, that everything else in your life is going to fall down if you're not there to hold it up. Like, what the fuck is that? I'd be really questioning, if you have a partner, who you chose as a partner. And oftentimes, they're great people that are more than happy to help you. So again, this really becomes this internal awareness and journey of like, well, what's in me that feels unsafe? Opening my heart and asking for support. Okay. Whew, that was fun. So I'm going to offer a last closing kind of wrap up to summarize these 5 blocks. So here are the 5 blocks. I'm just going to name them one more time. Block number 1 is chronic overfunctioning. People pleasing, spending your energy out there. No energy here for healing. Simple. Block number 2, suppressed emotions. You're storing everything. You're bottling up because you don't want to be too much. You want to keep the peace. You want to maintain conflict. And all of these have common threads beneath and between all of them. Okay, but this is causing your body to store that energy. So that's why you have physical manifestations. You have anxiety, you have irritable bowel syndrome, tight chest, you have aching joints, arthritis, you name it. Third block is identifying with the wound, with the experience, with the particular circumstance, becoming the victim basically of your life versus the creator. Number 4, ignoring integration. Always seeking the next experience, thinking it's going to heal you more or give you more insights. And actually the missing piece is you integrating, which is requiring you to first see clearly the pattern and then choosing differently. Number 5 is having high expectations for yourself, thinking that healing is linear and it's going to happen in this timeline and I'm just going to do this, and kind of approaching it in a very rigid way and maybe not asking for support. When actually healing, yes, is a process, and you are human, and especially as a woman, you have cycles. Your energy ebbs and flows, just as in nature, in the seasons. Are you honoring that, or are you forcing yourself into a timeline that doesn't nourish or serve you? So let us remember that healing is not a destination to rush to, or hope to arrive to. Everything you need is right here, right now. The key to your inner freedom lies right here, right now, the moment you choose to be present with what is. Simple. And we realize that a lot of the work is because I don't want to feel what is here right now. Healing happens the moment you realize that there's nothing wrong with you. That you are whole, that you are loved. That you are fully accepted as you are, a child of earth. So the work becomes, well, do you actually see yourself like that, or are you seeing in a blurred glass? Coming back to the point, you are your best ally in this journey. Don't try and be your worst enemy. That's going to make the process even harder. So healing is truly, I'm unlearning, I'm integrating lessons, I'm remembering I'm whole, I'm loved, I'm fully accepted. So I'm able to be authentically me. All right, this completes episode 89. And if something in this episode does resonate with you, let it land. Take a walk in nature, move your body a little bit, or find stillness, whatever feels nourishing for you. And start with one small shift. Again, it's not about doing everything, but if there's one little thing that really spoke to you, listen to it. And see how you can implement that in your everyday life. And see what shifts from there. And if you know anybody that would benefit from listening to this podcast, always grateful to share the love forward. And if you feel like working with me and partnering together and going one-on-one, I'm offering one private mentorship container for the spring, summer months. And that's going to be either a 1-month container to a 4-month container, where we really get to go deep within your subconscious, rewire those patterns of survival, of scarcity mindset, of basically living from a place that is inauthentic, and starting to learn that I am actually safe in my body to be me. And again, you can choose your container, a month, or you can choose the 3 to 4 months, which is the deeper dive. All the links where you can find me and to apply for private mentorship will be in the description of this episode. Thank you for being here.